Hey guys, it's WWEKhanToolz and welcome back to the weekly review. It's been a whole month since I've done a weekly review. I'm very sorry, it's been a bit busy, as you know, my 2 weeks of being off, and the other two were just pretty much being busy again for that very day. So anyway, I'm back again doing some weekly reviews. I'll try to be more active as possible. But anyway, this week's SmackDown was actually pretty interesting. I thought that Raw went pretty good. Ratings, I thought it was pretty good. But anyway, it started off with Brad Maddox, the new GM, coming out and pretty much announcing Dolph Ziggler versus Albert Del Rio for tonight in a non-title match. And then he says that he is determined to be the greatest GM of all time on Raw. And then John Cena comes out with a little bit of a mixed reaction. He gets booed by the Brooklyn fans, and he says that this is the only time during the Maddox era where the person Maddox is beside in the ring and is more hated than him. It was a little bit of disrespectful and kind of offensive to Brad Maddox, but John Cena was kind of like a joke kind of guy, and he pretty much insults people in a bad way, not really kind of a good way. So I don't really like that about him, in my opinion. But Maddox says that he respects Cena, so that's why he expects his integrity and honor and strength in the WWE as champion too. And he says that he's going to allow Cena to pick his opponent for SummerSlam. And thought it was a pretty good decision, and he pretty much says that it's going to be he's going to bring the whole roster out and let Cena pick his opponent. Randy Orton comes out and says that there is a chance that Cena won't even be champion at SummerSlam, and says that he won't cash it in tonight because he's not going to make the same mistake that Cena did last year. And he says that when he cashes it in, Cena won't even see it coming. So we thought probably he won't actually. So it was teasing a little bit of a heel turn, but I hope that does not happen because I like him just the way he is. And out comes Fandango, and Fandango hushes Orton and makes him quiet, and he says that the universe only wants to see Cena face is himself. And then Fandango teaches Cena how to say his name. As he finishes, Orton attacks him, but then they kind of brawl, and then kicks Randy Orton out of the ring. But then the fans pop, and then Randy Orton comes back in the ring and starts attacking them both. And then Maddox stops them to call the referee out, and ended up in a match. And Fandango versus Orton, well, ended up with Orton beating Fandango. I give the first segment, I give that about a good 2.5 out of 5 stars. Give the match 2.5 out of 5 stars too. Also, we pretty much going to see RVD versus Chris Jericho. So I thought that this GM actually pretty good because he made a really epic match, which was RVD and Chris Jericho. CM Punk, well, Paul Heyman has to address CM Punk about why he did what he did, and pretty much it was a good segment, honestly. But pretty much Paul Heyman says that Paul Heyman kind of trained him, kind of made him have his big moment, his big break in the WWE when he kind of signed him, when he kind of made him get better. And without Paul Heyman, there would be no CM Punk, and that's pretty true. We found out that pretty much he says that he is not the best in the world if he does not have Paul Heyman, and he says that himself, Paul Heyman and CM Punk both were the WWE champion for 434 days. They were so close to. He said that we were so close to beating Undertaker at WrestleMania within an inch of a way, and pretty much without us, without me, that CM Punk is not the best in the world. But he pretty much has to say that because to make him a heel. And pretty much Paul Heyman, I gotta say, I respect the hell out of Paul Heyman as what he said next, because he says that he has no mother, he has no father, and because that trouble that he's having, all he has is the universe. And pretty much he pushed him up. He pushed Paul Heyman, pushed CM Punk off in that very moment, because he said that all CM Punk has is the universe. And I really respect that from Paul Heyman, as he is trying to make CM Punk a face, trying to make him a big superstar. And I was really, I damn respect him. He's really much of a great guy, he really is. But then CM Punk, and pretty much Paul Heyman asked him, is he lying that CM Punk is not the best in the world? And then CM Punk completely rages at Paul Heyman, says that he swears on Paul Heyman's children that he's gonna get Paul Heyman's gonna get every one of his friends, gonna get his clients, and starts swearing at him. And he says that he's gonna get Brock Lesnar and he's going to beat Brock Lesnar up, and pretty much. And then Paul Heyman says that and then Paul Heyman starts representing Brock Lesnar as he comes out, attacks CM Punk. CM Punk tries to fight back a couple of times, but then did not manage to beat Brock Lesnar up. And then Brock Lesnar apparently has injured CM Punk as Brock Lesnar F5'd CM Punk across the announce table, which was pretty bad. But yeah, it was a good segment. I give them segment about 3.5 out of 5 stars. Got Bob Van Dam versus Chris Jericho. This was a really good match, I gotta say. It was pretty good back and forth match. Jericho was doing awesome. RVD was doing great too. And, well, we've got to see pretty much Jericho try to block, how it kind of locks into it was Jericho. We saw that. We saw 5-star Fox Dash for the win. And we saw another big kick to the face, and we saw all that stuff. It was really good with two men flying up in the air. It was just a great match. So I give the match about a 4 out of 5 stars because it really was good. It really was good, gotta say. John Cena had the time. It was his time to pick out his opponent, and pretty much he had to ask the universe for help because he cannot do that himself because he has not made his choice. And pretty much I did not like this segment because the whole roster was out on the stage, and he made the roster look very bad. He made them go down, made them look too bad with like guys like Sheamus, because basically he asked if Sheamus is alright, but then the crowd unexpectedly started booing him, and then Cena's like, oh snap, they're booing him, and that made Sheamus look really bad, and I felt really sorry for them. Guys like 3MB and tried to be really funny, but he pretty much failed, and I don't really think he was that funny. Don't really think it was entertaining at all. Just, the crowd was okay. And Daniel Bryan chants was just starting up all the way, and he's kind of somewhat were cheering for Great Khali. They booed Alberto. They were cheering for Chris Jericho and mostly Rob Van Dam, but then somewhat kind of booed Fandango and kind of booed Sheamus too, and then starts making fun of Ryback, and then the fans boo him, and then pretty much asks him if there's anyone that he is forgetting, and they say yes, and that kind of represented Daniel Bryan, and he says that he chooses Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan comes out running into the thing and starts to keep on saying yes. It was really a good part as the fans owned John Cena, and Daniel Bryan completely owned John Cena by just going yes. And then John Cena and Daniel Bryan going to be facing each other at SummerSlam. It's going to be a good match, but did not really like the ending as they kind of disrespected the roster. But yeah, again, it was a good Raw, better than last week's, with RVD competing for the first time in 6 years. So I'll give it a good 3 out of 5 stars. It was a good. It's gone on to SmackDown. Apparently, there's been a huge twist on SmackDown. Well, let's just see what happened in the beginning of SmackDown. Apparently, there's been some kind of job evaluation for Tay Long, apparently, and that's what Vince said. And then Booker T returns, and then says that he is the GM. Apparently, that's what has been happening so far in the SmackDown thing. And pretty much, Booker T made his return and thanked Tay Long, but he said that he will be resuming the GM duties. But then Vince said that Vince said that there can only be one who should be the GM, and pretty much he announced that Vicky Guerrero will be the new GM, and pretty much that kind of disrespected Booker T, because Booker T just came back and pretty much he asked what they offer. But then Tay Long announced that Curtis Axel versus Chris Jericho for the ICC title, and then Booker T announced Alberto Del Rio versus Randy Orton. But then Brad Maddox said that we're ready for those, and then announced the return of SmackDown, announced the SmackDown return of Rob Van Dam, and then there was a big pop. And then Vince teased that all three, and then announced the new GM is Vicky Guerrero, and then Big Heat, and then No Chance will follow as well. There was some chance of no, and then Vicky cut a promo about how she's back and she hates all of us, and then there was a little bit of a nuclear heat that was. So I give the segment about a 2 out of 5 stars. It wasn't very interesting except for the Booker T and Vicky part, but Dolph Ziggler beat Jack Swagger with a Tony Sosa and Zeb Coulter. Um, Pretty much after the match, Ziggler cut a quick promo about dumping AJ, and he said that he should have done it sooner, and that was kind of a heel, no, not heel, a face talk. So match, pretty much, yeah. AJ was watching backstage with Biggie getting, and he went nuts, completely crazy, and they beat up a chair and started attacking Big E. Eventually, he hugged her, and they were about to kiss, but then kissed on her forehead, kind of like a drama kind of show. Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns versus the Usos never really happened because of Dean Ambrose running in, and then Mark Henry made the save and turned face. There was a huge pop for that. The Shield kind of retreated back, but then the baby faces held up the ring. Daniel Bryan defeated Wade by the LeBell Lock in about 5 minutes. Pretty much of an unbelievable reaction for Daniel Bryan. A huge pop, arena wide with yes and Daniel Bryan chants. And yeah, it was no need for the audio sweetener with his great crowd. And then the Miz TV with Paul Heyman was an epic non-response for Miz's entrance because there was no one responding for the Miz. Then no one cheering for him, no one booing for him. Paul Heyman basically threatened that if CM Punk ever showed his face again, he would be victimized by Brock Lesnar. There was more brilliance from Heyman, and Miz was kind of lame. That's why he just pretty much then he left. Curtis Axel pinned Chris Jericho in about 10 minutes to retain the ICC Championship, and then pretty much a decent back and forth match. Axel won with this Hangman's face buster. Apparently, Chris Jericho will be leaving at WWE after that night. And Damien Sandow came to the ring. He didn't really screw Cody, so he couldn't really understand why Cody attacked him on Monday. However, he wasn't going to like spew angry rhetoric at Cody because that's what makes him different from us, and that's what he said. He said that he and Cody were still best friends and that he invited Cody to join the ring. Cody entered and Sandow says that he forgave Cody, and then he offered Cody a metaphorical olive branch in the form of the offer to be the guardian of the case. That's what he said. And then Cody said that you earned this. Sandow pretty much said that Cody earned it, and then Cody kind of attacked Sandow, but then Sandow quickly ran off and pretty much of a face. RVD beat Damon Young, and that was a good return for him with the 5-star frog splash, and then about 5 minutes, and then the showcase match for RVD, who used all of his standard spots because that was pretty good. Vicky had some security to remove Taylor Long from the building, and there was a brief graphic hype that Big Show would be returning on Monday, and then Randy Orton pinned Abergery in a non-title match, and then Orton went over clean after an RKO in about 10 minutes, but then pretty much that was it. Randy Orton pinned Abergery in 10 minutes in a non-title match, so it was a good SmackDown. I give it about 3 out of 5 stars. Actually, you know what? I'll give it 2.5 out of 5 stars. It wasn't as good as Raw, honestly. So I'll see you guys very soon. I wanted you to give me your comments below about what you thought about the both shows, and I'll see you guys very soon. Rate, comment, subscribe. Give me your thoughts. What did you think? Peace.